Morning, all. All right, so we've got 8 games tonight in the NHL, same as last night. And it'll be interesting to see how tonight goes because we start off with Boston and Buffalo earlier, half an hour earlier than the other games. 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern. For the Boston Bruins, things have gone pretty well since the trade deadline. We'll see if they can keep that going. They're 25, 12, and 6 now. They are 3-0 against Buffalo, which means they got 5 games left against Buffalo, including tonight. Buffalo's 12, 26, and 7. And don't look now, but they're tracking down the New Jersey Devils and look like they might pull themselves out of last place in the division. So Marchand, 23 goals, 31 assists, 54 points. He has lived up to the hype so far this season, and he just seems to be rounding into playoff shape. For Taylor Hall, 4 goals, 18 assists, 22 points. It's been a very good fit thus far. We'll see how things go as the rest of the season progresses. They are 6 points behind Washington, 4 points behind the Islanders, and 3 points behind Pittsburgh. On the Buffalo side, Cousins, 4 goals, 7 assists. He seems to be embracing his expanded role now with the amount of injuries and things that have happened and trades and all that in Buffalo. Olofsson, 12 goals, 15 assists, 27 points, and of course, in terms of running for playoffs, they're not. They're technically eliminated, but they're doing a pretty decent job at playing spoiler. And the last time Boston played them, it took until a shootout for Boston to win that game. So we'll see how it goes tonight. And then at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific, we got 4 games starting up then, including the New Jersey Devils in against Pittsburgh Penguins. Pittsburgh's won 3 out of 5 in that season series so far. The Devils are in free fall. They're 14, 24, and 6. Pittsburgh's 28, 14, and 3. The numbers are pretty good for Pittsburgh, so we'll see how things go tonight. Miles Wood, 14 goals and 5 assists for the New Jersey Devils. He's been their most consistent threat from the start of the season till now. And Jack Hughes, 9 goals, 14 assists, already scored more points than last year in his rookie season, so he's doing pretty well. And they're 22 points behind Boston. They are almost eliminated. It's pretty darn close to being eliminated. They could be eliminated by the end of the night. With a regulation win for Boston, regulation loss for New Jersey, that'll do it. For the Pittsburgh Penguins, Crosby, 17 goals, 33 assists, 50 points. Just another stellar season from Sid the Kid. Nothing to see here. Letang, 7 goals, 28 assists, 35 points. And of course, with Letang, it's been a fact that he's been healthy almost the entire season. So that's good news for Letang and for Penguins fans. They are 3 points behind Washington, 1 point behind the Islanders, and 3 points ahead of Boston in the playoff races, respectively. Also at 7 Eastern, the New York Rangers in against the New York Islanders. The Islanders have won 3 out of 5 in this series so far this year, so there's 3 games left, including this one tonight. Now, the Rangers are 23, 16, and 6 after the 4-game sweep over New Jersey. The Islanders are 28, 13, and 4, and things have slowed down for them in recent games. They've got 6 goals in their last 5 games. They'll be looking to, up their production tonight. Strome, 14 goals, 30 assists for the Rangers. Really, really good season for Ryan Strome. Started out kind of slow, but it's really picked up lately. Hedl, 7 goals, 10 assists. Part of that kid line with Kakko and Lafreniere. They've looked good together. On the playoff front, they're 4 points behind Boston. The New York Rangers are, but they've also played 2 more games, which is key. So for New Jersey, Zajac, 8 goals, 11 assists. He had his first goal as an Islander, I believe, in their game before that. Nelson, 15 goals and 10 assists, 25 points for Brock Nelson. And he's one of those guys who needs to start really chipping in and helping them get their goals for up a little bit tonight against the Rangers. They're 2 points behind Washington, 1 point ahead of Pittsburgh, 4 points ahead of Boston. So this division could tighten up a ton based on what happens tonight. If Buffalo pulls off a win, that would definitely help everybody else. But if Boston wins and if Pittsburgh were to lose the Islanders, and it feels like maybe this division just tightens up a little bit more each night. We'll see what happens. Then we move on to the Central Division games. We got 3 of those, starting with the Carolina Hurricanes. So I'm wearing Whalers because Hurricanes. 29, 10, and 5 against Tampa Bay for the last time this year. Tampa's now won 4 out of 7. I'm going to go ahead and say Carolina wins the last one because why not? They played last night. Tampa 30, 13, and 2 now. And really looking to continue to keep things all nice and tight and bundled up and jump over Carolina in the process. And then also become Columbus fans for tonight, hoping to jump over Florida. So for the Carolina Hurricanes, Svechnikov, 13 goals, 19 assists. His goals have started to come lately, and he's an excellent goal scorer. So once he gets on a hot streak, I would expect that to continue. Hamilton, 6 goals, 30 assists. Really interested to see what happens with Dougie Hamilton at the end of this season, how contract negotiations go. So, Carolina is tied with Florida. They have 2 games in hand. They're 1 point ahead of Tampa, 12 points ahead of Nashville. On the Tampa Bay front, Braden Point, 19 goals, 19 assists. Prominent last night. We'll see how it goes for him tonight. And Cirelli had an assist last night. Now has 9 goals, 13 assists, 22 points. They're 1 point behind both Carolina and Florida. They're 11 points ahead of Nashville. So they're hoping to win in regulation over Carolina and see Florida lose tonight, because Florida is at home to the Columbus Blue Jackets. So this one also 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. 15, 23, and 9 Columbus in against 29, 12, and 5 Florida. And Florida's beaten them 6 out of 7 times. This is their final meeting. And Columbus, they'll probably be glad not to see Florida again. On the Columbus side of things, Bjorkstrand had a goal last night. He's got 15 goals, 19 assists now. And of course, Roslovic, 9 goals, 20 assists. His production's fallen off since a fast start, but with Columbus, it's really a matter of whose production hasn't fallen off during this huge dive off a cliff they've done in the standings. Hornquist, 14 goals, 17 assists. He's always nosing around the net. He's always stirring things up. And I know he's been popular in Florida. And Frankie Vetrano, who's been red hot lately, 17 goals, 6 assists, 23 points. And there were Boston fans who used to say, I don't know what you see in this Vetrano kid. Okay. Columbus is 12 points behind Nashville. They're not making the playoffs. Florida tied with Carolina. They've played two more games, so they're kind of cheering for Tampa tonight because of those games in hand. And they're 1 point ahead of Tampa, 12 points ahead of Nashville, and we'll see how all that shakes out after tonight. And then the final Central Division matchup at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. We get the Detroit Red Wings and the Dallas Stars. Detroit 16, 24, and 7. Dallas 18, 14, and 12. And while, yes, Dallas has won 4 out of 5 matchups, wasn't easy last night. Detroit doesn't make it easy anymore. Glendening, 5 goals, 9 assists for Glendening. Let's see if he can score again after scoring 2 last night. And Nemesnikov, 6 goals, 8 assists. He's one of those ones I'm kind of surprised is still in Detroit. But I think he's played pretty well for the most part. And again, of course, he's there until they bring in new guys and they fix up their roster. He's there as kind of a placeholder. He's done well. They are 12 points behind Nashville, same as Columbus, with 1 extra win. They are ahead of Columbus in the standings. It's a bizarro world. Detroit's moving up in the standings. On the Dallas side, Robertson, 13 goals, 20 assists, garnering a lot of attention about maybe Calder, maybe not. I don't know, but I still think it's Kaprizov's. Hintz, 14 goals, 23 assists, 37 points for Rope Hintz. He has been excellent when he's played, and once the season's over, apparently he's going to have surgery for his nagging lower body issue, and it's been remarkable how well he's played with that going on. So they're 3 points behind Nashville. They have 3 games in hand, including this one. Nashville's off tonight, so this is one of those games in hand. They win this, they're only 1 point out of the playoffs, which is bizarre. But it's been a bizarre year. Then at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific, we get into the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Vancouver Canucks. So, Toronto, 28, 12, and 5 now. Vancouver, 17, 18, and 3. And these teams have split 3 each, right? So, they have more games left to go before the end of the year. I believe they play 9 times altogether, so they have 3 including tonight. The interesting thing is that Toronto won all the games in Toronto. Now Vancouver's won all the games in Vancouver. We'll see if that continues tonight. Toronto, Austin Matthews, 33 goals, 21 assists, 54 points. He's on another one of those streaks that he goes on. I would expect him to get a goal tonight. Tavares, 14 goals, 26 assists, 40 points. His play has been better lately. I think what helped Tavares was that, when Matthews got hurt, there was more responsibility, and he produced. They're 4 points ahead of Winnipeg, 5 points ahead of Edmonton, 14 points ahead of Montreal. So they don't have to worry about finishing as low as 4th. That's not a thing. On the Vancouver side, JT Miller, 9 goals, 20 assists, 29 points. Kind of showed some leadership during the downtime for Vancouver. We'll see if that translates on the ice. And Horvat, who has been a leader on and off the ice, 16 goals, 14 assists. Couple of goals the first game back. Not too shabby. The Canucks are 10 points behind Montreal. They have 5 games in hand, so they got to win them, and they got to hope that Montreal stays cold. But they win tonight. They're within 8 with 8 points, or eight. They're within 8 with 4 games in hand. So many numbers on the board. Eventually, brain goes, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm out of here," and it's gone. So yeah, for Vancouver, we'll see if they can keep things going, and we'll see if Toronto bounces back. And again, there's no pressure on the Canucks to necessarily make the playoffs, and I'm just happy to see them back on the ice. And so, yeah, I'm just hoping for the effort. The effort's all that really matters with me, and that's why I was so impressed in their first game back. The effort was definitely there. It will be interesting to see how their defense looks without Edler out there. Edler eats up a lot of minutes, but he also does tend to take penalties, so we'll see how things go. At 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, we then get into the last game of the night, which is Anaheim and LA. Anaheim 14-25-7, LA 16-20-6. Anaheim's won 2 out of 3. These teams aren't making the playoffs. Anaheim has Silverberg at 8 goals and 8 assists for 16 points. Raquel, 8 goals, 16 assists for 24 points. Raquel's been pretty good lately. Silverberg, I'm surprised at how low his production is in general. And so we'll see how things go for them tonight. Kopitar, 9 goals, 34 assists, 43 points. He is, you know what you're getting with Kopitar. You're getting a really good two-way forward. Can take some face-offs. And who, after having 9 months off, has looked better this year, I think, than he did the year before. Adrian Kempe, 13 goals, 11 assists. Bit of a hot and cold season for him. See if he can get things going tonight. Anaheim's 10 points out of the playoffs behind Arizona. LA's 7 points behind Arizona. They'd be further behind, but Arizona just doesn't seem to want to get the points to distance themselves from everybody behind them. But still, Anaheim and LA aren't. They're not really in the running. We'll see how things go tonight. Let me know your winners in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.